have to add the agenda, or
I guess we could, or we could discuss it under the other one I was thinking of.
9E?
Authorized signature. I mean, I would defer because I'm
okay.
not as familiar with the Colorado rules as I am with some of the California rules, etiquette and rules. So I'm a little reluctant to make a decision in that regard because I don't want to make the wrong one, so to speak, because I just don't know enough about it at this point in time.
I mean, with Robert's rules, I'm pretty fuzzy as well. I mean, I know sometimes we've given broad authority to adding things under new business. I mean, what do you think, Mark? Is sticking that under 9E to talk about that additional money? Is an appropriate move, you think?
No, I think that's fine. I think that's the place for it.
Okay, perfect. We'll just add that as part of one of the topics under 9E. I think we're good to go.
Okay. So I move that we approve the agenda as it is corrected.
Okay.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Call the question here. Carissa, obviously aye. Mark, aye. I guess it's me. Aye. The agenda is approved. Item 4, approval of the previous minutes. I looked at them about 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, I move that we approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All right, motion and a second. I approve of that as well, so I will imply from the motion second that you also approve of the previous minutes.
Yes.
Item 4 carries. Item number 5, special business. So budget committee, Mark, Carissa, and Bruce, need to report out from the budget committee.
There's not anything new other than what's in the agenda down below, specifically talking about the updated resolution to the rates since we had failed to specify a date when they kick in. So we'll discuss that at the end when we do the resolution. And in the manager's report, he's talking about some of the incomes have been received for taxes. So other than that, there's nothing extra that needs to be discussed under this item.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Recreation committee. I'm not sure if Mandy had anything to present there. Bruce, if you have anything to add, feel free to chime in. I don't have anything at this time. So
nor do I at this point.
Okay.
Can I just request that we get new bark around the path of the lake?
Okay. We'll make a note of that. Yeah.
Yep, I've written it down.
What was that, Chris? I didn't catch what you said.
The new bark around the path.
Oh, okay.
A gravel bark, whatever you got extra.
We got a seemingly endless supply of gravel, but if it's bark that's on there, then we'll figure that one out too.
Yeah, thank you.
So kind of sticking with the lake, I've had a few people ask me, I mean, obviously, I'm not sure we should expect that thing to fill up as it has in the past, given the drought and the amount of snow we got this year, didn't get. But then I heard from someone say that this is the year to drain the lake.
True.
That's true. Okay.
That's the game plan. As in the fall, after summer, we want to reline that pipe to do it. And so in order to do that, we have to drain the lake because the pipe extends, from what I understand, roughly 100 and something feet into the lake from the dam. So it goes quite a ways. I mean, the exit you can see, and that's pretty rusty. So we don't know what that pipe looks like, short of draining it. So we will, but not till fall. Once summer's over and we start cooling off, and that's the game plan on that one.
Okay.
And
which is also why excuse me.
Oh, go ahead, Bruce.
We're not going to stock it this year either.
That's exactly what I was going to say. We're not going to stock it for that very reason.
Okay. That makes sense. And gosh, the way this is going, there may not be much to drain come fall.
That's the hope, and actually, why we're doing that. And just kind of to further add on that, yesterday I went out, walked out to where that what do you call it? The ditch that feeds it, because there's some drainage over there, and kind of reviewed that again and saw what was going on. So we're going to try and do something about that, because we're losing some water out of the ditch that drains down probably close to 50 feet below it, where it daylights out onto that emergency access road.
Oh, wow.
So, water's perking down through there somehow, and so we want to capture all we can without wasting it, so it'll go into the lake at some point in time when we actually have enough water. So I've been out there now 3 times looking at that and trying to get something to put in there. We had something that we tried, and I don't know that it's actually working. So we'll continue to monitor that and try and figure out a more permanent solution.
No, that's good to know. I appreciate that, Bruce. Thank you. I had no idea that was going on, that leaching,
Right.
that ditch, but
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. And I think timeline wise, it's, I mean, to not stock it this year, drain it in the fall. I think we've had in the past, just so you know, Bruce, we've had, I think, other ideas formally, informally tossed around about how to, continue the upgrades at the lake, some kind of put in area, like a floating dock that you can pull out in the wintertime kind of thing.
Mhm.
On that very northwest corner, and maybe some riprap around there to kind of for bank stabilization, because people really tread through there quite a bit. And somebody also mentioned about the possibility of some lakes in Colorado. You'll see, those benches or docks that almost extend out 10, 12 feet. You can fish off a small dock kind of thing. Just little upgrades that kind of add to the ambiance of it.
Yeah, no, I've seen that when I was working at City of Oceanside. We actually put in a fishing dock right in the harbor.
Yeah.
Probably a little bigger than what you're contemplating, but
Yeah.
but it was still heavily used. I mean, really, because it extended out about, I don't know, probably 30, 40 feet out into the water, and with a little T at the
Yeah.
end. So you get a lot of people out there, and they really, really used it.
Yeah.
Hey, Bruce, since we're on the subject of the lake and you brought up that we're losing water out of that ditch, that is new information to us. I appreciate you sharing that also. But is it just in a short little area, or is it all along the ditch we're losing water, or what?
It's in I don't know. It's probably, there's a couple places. One place is bigger than the other. I'd say it's probably like maybe 50 feet long, and then another one, it seems a little smaller than that. I don't know exactly where it is, but you could see where it's coming, and then all of a sudden it seems to disappear.
Wow.
And then in some of this water, there's a lot of debris in there, so it's hard to also see how much water is continuing to flow. I pulled some out because I didn't think any was going, but then I'd see some downstream and I go, well, it's getting there somehow. So I pulled some out and I could see, oh, well, okay, there's a little bit trickling through underneath the pine cones and the needles and stuff like that. But that first big one is pretty good. I mean, if you go down and look at that emergency access road, you can see there's a pretty good sized puddle. And it's been there for weeks now. So the first time
I've had a lot of people asking me about that too. And so that's now we got something we can share with them about why the lake isn't filling up as much. And yeah, keep us posted. I think a lot of the residents would be interested in any updates you have on that.
Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Bruce. And I guess the last thing I'll add as far as recreation wise, Mandy was working on some things with, and this is probably all in the transition report that Keith prepared for you, but getting some food trucks in here, entertainment, the whole next steps with the community center. What's going to happen with that thing? Because that will not be cheap to renovate. So I mean, I say a lot of big ideas with some things, but a lot of logistics to work out too.
Well, that's true. And I did see that when I saw the price tag on that renovation, kind of made us all choke a little bit. But so there's some decisions to be made on that, to be sure. I haven't really tackled that. I'm aware of it, and that's about it at this point.
Yeah, I think aware is a good place to be right now as far as that goes.
Okay.
We'll probably get to it at some point, but that's probably coming up here. But yeah. Recreation, anything else? Good to the cause?
Just real quick for bird watchers, the eagle is back. He or she, I can't tell if it's male or female, has been fishing in the lake.
Yeah.
So if you want to come down and look, just look in the trees. People walk past and I know the eagle is sitting right there.
Yeah.
Look up when you walk.
Oh.
The eagle's back.
Yeah. The bald eagle?
Yeah.
Okay. I saw the baldy Sunday. I was fishing with my kids and I saw it grab something out of the water, head to the north side of the lake and a tree up there, and yeah, pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Good stuff. At Personnel Committee, Mark, any updates as far as personnel?
The only thing would be the obvious that Bruce is on board.
Yeah,
And we are grateful he's here. I'm thankful. I mean, clearly it's going to take him a little bit of time to get his feet totally on the ground, but I think he's hit the ground running, and I'm pleased, and I'm really glad to have him here.
awesome.
Thank you. Could I add something real quick?
Absolutely.
The position, the finance person, the title is comptroller, and it's been out there for well over 2 months advertising, and we've had a total of 3 responses, of which 2 of which are not qualified. So I'm probably gonna, almost positive, I'm just gonna change the title, but duties will remain the same, to a title that I've seen, it seems more common in the public sector, which is finance manager. Everything else will stay the same. And then I will advertise it in some of the municipal websites that specialize more in that type of thing instead of Indeed, and see if I get a little more response out of that, because it's very disappointing and I really need that position filled. So just FYI on that.
Appreciate that, Bruce. Yeah, I don't think changing a job title requires any official action on our part. So I'd say have at it. Yeah.
Can I say something?
Corey?
Go ahead, Corey. Oh,
Have you guys looked at trying to post it on the CML League at all?
Yes, that's one of them. There's going to be three that I was going to go with. One is the special districts website, that one, and then there's a League of Colorado Cities or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Corey.
awesome. All right, item 6, public comments. Jamie, do we have anybody contact us about a public comment?
Not that I'm aware of.
Aware of,
Nobody's
okay.
Contacted me.
I don't see anything in the chat, Derek.
Chat either. Hold on a second here. There's the chat. Sorry, I was looking at the wrong thing.
If anyone would like to add something that you don't have a speaker, maybe, there's a chat to the right. You can type in your message, it says type message here.
Hey guys, this is Mike Down, and I live up on Pine Tree Drive. Hopefully you guys can see me.
Yep.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, I had reached out last week about the situation that was going on up there on Jackalope. And I was just trying to kind of find out if there was anything as far as resolution goes or a plan for how to handle all that. My wife was back up there today, and she said that it's even more of a mess now than what it was before. Basically that there's just trash and all kinds of stuff just thrown all over the place up there.
Yeah, I can address that. I've had, I'm not sure how many conversations, at least 6 with the sheriff, one of the sheriff's deputies, and trying to coordinate a time that they can get up there. The problem is that when it's not a high priority call, sometimes they get pulled away, and we've had 2 or 3 of those already happen where they weren't able to make the time that they tried. I called again today, and the officer wasn't on duty, not that someone else couldn't do it, but they've also indicated that since it's the unimproved roads, that they wouldn't be towing it. But we do have a process in place that we can use as the district to tow vehicles out that are in the right of way, which there's a trailer and a truck there, as well as anything else debris that we can do that. But we have to post it. It's like I'm trying to remember now, I was just reading it today. I think it's a 3-day process, first day, second day, third day, and then we can do it. And then we have to leave something, tell them where it was towed, who towed it, and all that sort of thing. And so we're absolutely going to be trying to do that. The problem is I'm not going up there, nor am I allow my staff to go up there, because those individuals have been identified with weapons up there. And so unless the sheriff's going, I'm not taking a chance with anybody's life over something like that. And so we're going to get there. I just don't have an exact time on it. And we're we're ready to go on our end is when we can get the sheriff to go with us and deal with that situation. And we'll do the first posting, and then we'll have to go up the next day and the next day. So it's not as clean as I'd like it to be, but there is a process that's in place, and we're going to have to follow it if we're going to do it right and make sure it sticks.
Yeah, no, and I got that, especially for like the vehicles and, you know, that kind of stuff. I just know, you know, on the Facebook page and stuff like that, you know, there's a lot of people out there in the community that are definitely worried about it, especially the fact that somebody's up there burning, you know, in a uncontained kind of manner up there. And then the safety factor of it too. You know, I mean, we all spend a lot of time out there walking and, you know, using the force for what it's for, right? I mean, for recreation and whatnot. You know, and then on the back end of that too, I just know too that if you guys do need help, you know, I encourage, you know, the board to put out on the Facebook page, you know, if you need help with cleaning up the area or whatever. There's already been a lot of people that have been on the Facebook page that have, you know, expressed saying, hey, look, you know, if we need to go up there and help to clean that area up, they'll definitely do it. So, you know, the community's here to support and help as well.
That's nice to hear.
That's great, Mike.
Yeah, I'm more concerned about, I mean, I appreciate that, but the security is a big issue for me right now. And the individual had spoken to some people, and they've relayed that to me, is that they said that these individuals own that property, but it didn't match up on what the property records show. So unless there's some type of written authorization with what we consider the legal owner, which we're not aware of at this point because we have not had that contact with the owner of record, and as well as the individual who's up there. So there's still some things that we're trying to sort out and figure out who actually owns it and whether there is permission for that individual to be there. But there's still, you can't have an open fire. I mean, that's just the bottom line. It doesn't matter whether they own it or not. It's irrelevant. That just can't happen. And then obviously the mess is a whole nother story, but we're trying to tackle that as quickly as possible. And like I said, with law enforcement, I've also spoken to the fire department about it as well.
I appreciate it, Bruce. Thanks.
You can call the fire department direct if you see a fire, and they will go up there. I talked with the captain for now 6, 7, 8 months, and they said, you see a fire, you call us because it is illegal.
Right.
So, and they will respond.
Okay, thank you.
So please do that. Yeah.
Yeah. And that might help expedite this process, maybe a little bit. But hey, Mike, I appreciate bringing that concern. Like I say, serious stuff. And Bruce, appreciate your follow-up. So thanks to both of you.
Yes, sir.
Awesome. Any other public comments? All right, item 7. Reports from staff, officers, consultants, and committees. So the first report is a manager's report, and I want to publicly echo Mark's statements and say, Bruce, welcome. it was quite a process to get here, but like I say, good things come to those who wait. So you know, welcome to the area, to Forest Lakes, and we're so excited you're here.
Well, thank you. I'm excited to be here too. This is a real new experience for me, and I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully getting up to speed, because right now I'm drowning a little bit, but I know I'm not going to drown.
I know that feeling.
A lot to learn.
Yeah, you'll get
as I
there.
mentioned earlier, I mean, just some of the rules about things that are different than I've been exposed to. So I have to be careful and not make too many assumptions that it's the same. So I'm continually asking a lot of questions about those sort of things.
That's okay.
Anyway, would you like me to proceed, or is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, no official process. Like I say, we announce you, you're up to bat.
Well, thank you. And thank you all for having me. And I appreciate you putting your faith in me to take the district forward. With that, I'll start with our first thing, which is the district loan. As I've said, the USDA has approved the loan. And we're still in a little bit of limbo getting the actual mortgage set up. Had someone from the bank in the office late this afternoon. And so we're the individual that we need at the bank has been on vacation for 2 weeks, and so he's back on Thursday. So Friday we'll have what we'll call a resolution, we think, to transitioning over to the mortgage and paying off the contractor and some of the overages that we've occurred because of the price of things that in the last year that have just gone through the roof. So we're working through that and working with the contractor, working with the bank, and I think we should have a real solid recommendation for you by Friday. I know that's not a meeting, but I would let you know. I think what's going to end up happening is, assuming you guys agree, is that the overage amount for the increased costs would come out of the CD that we have as collateral at the moment, and then whatever that is about 43,000. The balance of that CD would go back into the savings and move on, and we'd get the mortgage that was it 347. I think that would probably be the cleanest way to do it without having to go back to USDA and try and get reapproved for the additional what have you. So I think we have the wherewithal to do that. And that's kind of where I think we go. And the bank seems to be inclined that would be the way to go as well.
That was the plan all along.
Yeah. Okay. And that's good to know because that seems to make the most sense. I think that, I need to, I'm going to make an assumption that the board members who chime in on the USDA loan, Tony signed for that. And for this one, we need, I'm going to assume, Derek, you're assuming that position to sign for the mortgage. And in order to do that, you need to, our minutes need to reflect that. And so I'm going to, well, actually, let's have a little discussion about that, see if that seems to be where everyone is going in that regard.
Bruce, did you actually have the bank check into what the difference in cost was if they ran it through to get a re-approval?
Well, they didn't mention that today when what was her name, Clarissa, or no, Charlene came in from the bank. She walked around to look at to see that everything was here, to make sure that we didn't do nothing. So that was good, but she did not mention that, and I did not ask it either, to be honest.
The only reason I say that, because yes, it can be a pain with construction loans when you completely go over the projected cost. But given our current real estate market, I'm sure the appraised value is probably higher than what we projected as well. It might not be hard to get it reapproved, but it might not hurt to ask, because it may be a difference in cost of, $10 a month.
No, you're probably correct. So no, I'm happy to ask.
It just might be worth it to ask.
Okay, no problem. I will absolutely do that. I guess I need to still know if Derek, if you're going to be the one signing on that, if that's the pleasure of the board, because I have to read something, because the minutes are going to have to reflect it, and I have to read something that has to be in the minutes.
Yeah.
But I need to know if you're the guy or not.
I'll just say I have no problem doing it. I think the last time I was there to sign some documents, I believe I did sign 1 or 2 documents that required Tony's signature, but as the vice president, that's why I signed. So I think that's consistent.
Okay. Okay. So let me say, so Jamie, for the record here, it says, let this reflect the board has designated Derek as Derek Martin as the signer for the First Southwest Bank USDA Community Facilities Loan of $347,000 on behalf of the Forest Lakes Metropolitan District. End quote. Okay, so that was one of the things I needed to have, and I'll need to get them a copy of the bylaws that reflect a variety of things, as well as you will need to provide some identification so that they can see the minutes that you were selected for that. and that you are in fact who you say you are. So there'll be a couple pieces of ID, and that you're no responsibility for the loan. Just so you know. I double checked that when they said they wanted, ID and social security. I'm like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah,
No, it's just for identification purposes.
sure. Understood.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right, good. I've had Keith has come back a couple times and has really just been an amazing amount of help. Some of the stuff he does, there's so much going on there, and he's also been answering phone calls and texts and kind of get me through the days as I get stuck on things. So I want to thank him and thank you for allowing him to help me because it's made a big deal. The next item is the emergency generator project, which has been identified, and we've started that process. We've got Browns Hill on board doing the design. We did a walkthrough a couple weeks ago. We had contractors, we had our engineer and everything, and so they're working on that now. Just from my personal perspective, that's a really important thing to be able to get water up that hill, not only for drinking water and other things, but for fire suppression. If we can't move a generator or get things pumping up the hill, we need the water, we're going to have some big trouble. So that's a very important thing. So I kind of jumped on that right away and got that going. So we haven't heard back from them yet. They don't have that design set. One of the little, I would say, hitches in it was that when that initial proposal came from Browns Hill, they were not aware of the solar project, and the solar project was not aware of the other one. So we're massaging that right now, and it's not going to be, I don't think, a big deal whatsoever, but we're having to factor that into the design for both of them at this point in time. And they're both aware, and they're talking to each other now. And we'll have a resolution for that probably fairly shortly, probably sometime next month. So that's kind of a good thing.
So Bruce, before you move on then, with regards to that, when we spoke the other day, you had told me that you had got some estimates that it could take 70 months to get a generator once we have the design. Have you looked for other sources, and have you determined, or is Browns Hill aware of any other vendors that might be able to get us something sooner?
Well, they're the ones that told me about the 70. They had worked on another project.
Oh, okay.
So it's similar size. They just said, don't get too excited about it, but because we don't know the size. And then there's, like you said, there's a variety of models or different makes that can be done. Just that particular one that they wanted for this other customer of theirs was a 70-week lead time. That being said, we actually discussed that in the meeting, in that we can do the design with the current generator in place so that it can work until we get the bigger one that we need to do everything we want to do. So we can still isolate some of the things and just do what we want to do. Like if we don't run something in the shop, we don't need to run that. We need to run up the mountain. Uh-oh, what happened there?
Please.
Oh, okay. And so there's a kind of an interim plan that we're planning on as well, to be able to use the existing until we get the larger one that can run everything down there, and then pull our existing generator, mount it on a trailer so that we can take it up by some of the tanks so we can pump water further up the hill. Is kind of the game plan at this point in time. Kind of an interesting little twist on that is I was talking to the fire chief, and he's kind of put me onto they're helping look for some of these generators through some of their sources, which is looking promising if that comes to fruition. So we have them, and they've purchased a number of these from some of the surplus military stuff that they get first dibs on as a first responders, police and fire get those. So he has agreed to help us with that, and he's already sent one over that was just a little bit too small in terms of the voltage. It came in at 418 and we need 480. So otherwise it would have been it was a mobile one, which would have been just absolutely perfect. It only had 22 hours on it. So virtually brand new, and it was only going to be about $4,400 for a
Wow.
100 megawatt, not mega, generator. And so that process will continue, as well as the design on everything and all the switches. There's some manual ones, there's some automatic ones. It's going to be a fairly complicated electrical design, but that's why we've got these professional engineers doing this. And I feel really confident with them too. Next one is at Unit 3 of those abandoned vehicles. We sort of talked about that. Again, we've been in contact with the sheriff, fire department, and numerous residents have called me, and we've had this discussion. And as soon as I can get law enforcement to go with us up there, we'll post the property. The three things we have to do to get things out of the public right of way, and then we're also tracking or sorting out who the owner is and who this individual is, and trying to contact the owner of record to determine if they have permission to even be there at all, let alone what they're doing. So that's kind of the status at this point. I'm hoping to get that at least with the sheriff this week. The sooner the better. We're, like I said, we're ready to go on our end with our notices, but we're not going to go up there without a sheriff. At least that's what I've decided to do, because I don't want to put anybody's life in danger over something like that. And
I just want you to know, Bruce, I appreciate that, and I fully support that decision. I think that's the right decision.
Okay, well, thank you. Also, as I mentioned, I spoke to the chief, and I also called the city manager over in Bayfield just to introduce myself and see if there's some shared things that we can work on, and there were. So both those conversations went well, and we'll try and continue to improve those. And I'm going to reach out to some other public officials and things like that to try and see where there's opportunities to do things together that might benefit both of us. And so far, 2-0 right now, so I'm pretty happy about that. The Bayfield one was about some broadband stuff that they're working on. So I said, I think that would be great. I'd be happy to help and support some of those things that could help us too. And then the lig truck, that broke down. So if you haven't noticed, we haven't really been doing much in the way of road work in the last week or so. That clutch blew up, and I took a picture of it. It had 12 pieces. So they just finished it today. So they'll be back out hopefully tomorrow doing some more road work. But that was an unexpected and not unwelcome breakdown. But they had to literally pull the entire transmission out, drop it down, pull the clutch off, then get a clutch, which we were very happy they were able to get one fairly quickly. And then they just put that all back together again today. So that was encouraging. The district office working with the contractor, we're down to a punch list now. Few things need to be straightened out. The driveway is one of them. It's not wide enough. Trying to get the billing for the differentials for the overages, and there's some under things too, but I need to verify that to make sure those numbers are correct. And other than that, I think we're pretty close, but that driveway is going to be a big deal. He's very reluctant to do that because he thinks he's put down enough material that was spec'd. And my argument was, well, I didn't create that spec, but we said we wanted an 18-foot driveway, and right now it's about 12. So we need to get that a little bit wider, and we'll be able to finalize this, I think, pretty quickly. So we're close. And so all those things are tying together with the bank loan as well as the contractor and some of the other, I think we have most of, if not all of the approvals from the various people. The county, again, this is a new one to me. I asked the contractor for the certificate of occupancy, and he goes, we don't do that for commercial buildings, only for residential. And I'm like, okay, well then how do we know when the building is, in the county's eyes anyway, completed? And didn't have an answer for that. So I've called the county, the inspector, and he hasn't called back in 2 days. So I actually need to I'll call him tomorrow and figure out what kind of document is provided that says yes, this meets all the codes, and in our eyes, it's complete. There's got to be something. I don't know what they call it, but again, my experience has always been a certificate of occupancy for every building, but maybe not here. So I'm still trying to sort that one out. Next one is the Snowbird Court. We look like we're good to go on that, assuming our weather holds up. We should probably start at the end of this month or the beginning of May. So I'm thankful about that. We'll get those utilities in there. And last was our big survey, which was cause for quite a bit of stress. We thought we were really going to be hurt because we were missing some documents, or so we thought, and we were. In our staff's eyes, they thought that everything needed to be on certain forms. What we found out is the inspector said, well, you have notes and things, and she accepted that as the documentation, even though it wasn't on an official form that they thought they needed to be on. And so we did fairly well. Our staff was thrilled, to be perfectly honest, that there's going to be a few things that we need to fix. No question about that. They will probably be done by this week, but we won't even get the official letter indicating the various things that we need to change probably for another 2 weeks, maybe even 3, is what we understand to be typically the lead time on that. So we want to have everything done before we even get the letter. And the reason the letter is important, because whatever the date is on it is our clock to get things fixed within a certain time frame. So we want to have it done before we even get it. And we know exactly what we need to do, and it's relatively minor, to be honest. So we're happy about that.
So I'm assuming they will require some kind of a response that says, here's what we've done to fix it. And then after that, will they come back and reinspect, or what?
I don't believe they're going to come back and reinspect. What they requested is, say, what did you do? Which is obvious. And then we have to provide photographs before and after.
Okay.
And I think they're accepting the photographs, since the inspector took photographs of the things that they thought we needed to fix. So they know what it looks like already.
Cool.
And so we will show our own as well as the after. And I think that's all. And then we're good for the next 3 years.
Nice. Trust but verify.
I understand it too, Bruce.
Yeah. And I think that concludes my report for now.
We wanted just to give a little blurb about your background, Bruce.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you did want me to do that.
A little bio.
Yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, it's a little unique, I think, compared to the average person. I was born in Northern California. And when I was 6 years old, my father was in the Foreign Service, and we moved to Nigeria and then later to the Congo. So I spent 6 years in Africa. Moved back to Southern California in about 7th grade, and grew up in Fullerton, California, and went to junior high and high school there. Then went on to college. I graduated from Long Beach State, and my bachelor's, and I one class short of my master's in public administration. That turned into just a messy part of my life where I ran out of time. You only have 7 years to do it, and there was some personal things going on with my dad, who got very sick, and I had to take care of that. So anyway, that's that part of it. Professionally, kind of done almost every job. I started in planning, did code enforcement, did current planning, advanced planning. Then I moved over to the finance department, was there for about 5 years. Then moved in, became the IT manager of the city. Then I moved into the city manager's office as the assistant city manager. And then I left there and went over to another city and took over the public works director position and, well, manager's position there. Small cities use the term manager and director if you're the top guy. If you're a bigger city, you get paid more money if it's director, but small cities don't pay as well as big cities. Overall, 26 years in the public sector. Then I retired and played around for a while, but then kept going back, and I took 3 other interim jobs. One as an assistant city manager, one as a public works director, and one as the harbor manager down on Oceanside, and did that. And so that's kind of my professional life. And then since my children live in Colorado, they live in Leadville, and I wanted to live a little closer to them. I have 2 daughters that live there, and then my oldest daughter has 2 children, and her husband lives there. So that put me a lot closer to them, and was a real driving force between getting me out here and then getting back to work, because I was just going nuts, not working, I guess. I just didn't have enough stuff to fill my time. And that's why I was doing those interim jobs. So I finally said, well, that's stupid. Let's just go back and get a full-time one and do it that way. So that's, in a nutshell, kind of my background.
Thank
And if you have any questions, happy to answer them.
I appreciate that, Bruce. And now I actually figured out one thing you're bad at, and that's retirement, apparently. So you just gotta keep working. So no, we're thrilled to have you here. And like I say, I can't wait to meet you personally and start a great relationship. So again, appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
All right, 7B, Office Manager Administration. Jamie, that is you, correct?
It is. Hello.
Right. Hello.
So I'm going to start off with talking about our office staff. Shauna Johnson is now working as our new utility billing clerk and office assistant. She's
Welcome, Shauna.
adapting well, and she's a great addition to our staff. She's been doing a wonderful job. And Barb Ross is still working 2 days a week, thankfully, and she's helping with training and going through files and for record management according to the SDA standards. We got 2 rooms full of files, and we have a storage container also full of old documents that need to be gone through. We've mailed out and processed payments on approximately 1,000 utility bills in the last month. We sent out 15 shut-off notices and have collected on all of those. I've processed over $108,000 worth of vendor invoices. We've been really busy. Office staff had training on the new phones March 9th. I would also like to welcome George Nobriga. He's one of our new employees that's working for O&M. He started on April 4th as an equipment operator.
Nice.
And as far as Cassell, I'm currently working with 8 different project managers. They're all handling different aspects of Cassell, and I have several 4-page questionnaires and documents that I need to get over to them, updating everything as far as, the GL and payroll, human resources, all the financial aspects. And that's time consuming. Hopefully we'll get that rolling within the next couple months. Still working on the audit. I've submitted several documents over the last month and have recently updated our 5-page internal control narratives and audit questionnaire. The CPA has relayed to me that they're short-staffed right now, but they're working hard to get everything done in a timely manner. As far as the election, I would like to remind everybody that all the details are posted on our website. We don't have a Tabor notice this election, so we're going to have a polling place instead, which will save us some money. We won't have the additional cost of mailing out all the ballots. At this point, all the UOCAVA and absentee ballots have been mailed out. And I have requested 2 voting boxes and 2 locked ballot boxes for election day. I also have names of judges that will be available, and I'll get with them this month and go through the training so that we'll be prepared for election day. So far, we've probably spent about $700 on the election at this point. And I've assigned Shauna Johnson as my deputy DEO. And let's see. Oh my gosh. So changing the mailing address for our new location was a nightmare because we've used so many different alternatives to Forest Lakes Metropolitan District. We've used FLMD, Forest Lakes Metro. So that was kind of a nightmare, and I would like to encourage everybody to either use just FLMD when you pay your bill or spell it out completely, Forest Lakes Metropolitan District, and no other alternatives. We need to just stick to those two. Our PO box is no longer being used. And that's about it. I did go on and to DOLA website and update the information for the CTF funds that we receive quarterly. And I did update all the board meetings to reflect 7 p.m. instead of 1:30. And I have also updated all of the banking information, credit card companies and vendors with our new address. So we should be good to go. And that's it for me.
Hey, Jamie, thanks. That was a
Wow.
good report, but I couldn't find it in the minutes. I'm assuming you're gonna put all that into the minutes before, so we can prove it before the next meeting.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.
And I want to add that the election is May 3rd from
That's
7 in
correct.
the morning till 7 at night. Is that
That's true. It is 7 to 7. It's a long day.
And
Yeah, wow.
let me just also plug that that we had, the minutes from that, the recap from that is under elections. It's a PDF for everyone to read. For them
That's correct.
Am I allowed to post that on the Facebook page?
Oh, absolutely. It's a PDF.
Is that
Oh,
okay
yeah,
if I,
the link, yes.
Jamie, can you send me the details
Absolutely.
with a little synopsis from the election?
Sure.
You can just email it and then I'll just give people a little reminder so we can get as much turnout as possible.
Sounds good. I will.
office desks set up, and after that, we plowed a whole bunch of slush off the roads. And then, like Bruce mentioned before, we did a lot of prep work for our state inspection. We spent quite a bit of time doing some digging into our paperwork, into our computers, trying to find all the paperwork necessary. And luckily, we came up with quite a bit of it. And we also started our road maintenance this month or last month. And then again, like Bruce mentioned, we had a pretty good meeting about getting our backup generator plan going and into effect, which took up some time there. And then we also continued our meter reads, and we started doing some burning in our air curtain burner. And as of lately, it's been pretty difficult for us to kind of keep up with our burn slash with the winds being so bad lately. But let's see, as far as our status of our vehicle fleet, everything's good minus one of our dump trucks. We have a high oil pressure that's going off in one of our trucks. We've been diagnosing it over the last week. Our mechanic's going to be showing up tomorrow, and hopefully he's going to be able to figure out what's going on with that, and hopefully the status of that will be back online as of tomorrow. Fingers crossed. And again, I know Bruce mentioned our LIG truck. It did, we got it back up and running today, so we should be able to get back on the roads tomorrow. We also did return our road grader, our rental. So we're just down to one grader now. We did receive our steel drum roller to pack the roads down. We received that on the 22nd of last month. And other than that, all the rest of our vehicle fleet's operational. And as far as our safety incidents, as of this whole year, we are 0 incidents. We are safety free here.
Great. Hey,
Awesome.
I wanted to compliment you guys, Trevor. Obviously, your preparation for all that hard work paid off in the inspection. So
Sure
I
did.
just want to commend you guys for what you did down there.
Thank you very much. We appreciate it.
Trevor, I have a question. Is there any way we can coordinate with the office and post what roads you're going to be working on? So we can avoid the goop?
Yes, yeah. We have lately, lately, since our leg truck's been down, we haven't been able to do much road maintenance, so I haven't been able to post anything, but when we started last month, we have been trying to post that online. We do keep that in track online. So if you guys just watch it each day, we do post what road we'll be working on and what section.
So it's going to be under like updates or events or what?
It'll be under road maintenance.
Ah,
Yeah, I asked them to do that a couple of weeks ago after, actually, I think I was talking to you about that, and they've been doing it, but yeah, where the location is important to know that too.
Yeah, we're gonna-
because I looked and I didn't look there. So I looked under calendar.
Gotcha. Yeah, and what we're gonna try to do, we're gonna try to get like a whole week in advance. We'll try to post the whole week, so you guys can see it that way. But I mean, sometimes that's gonna that could possibly change. But we'll try, instead of doing it daily, I'll try to give you guys an update, for that whole week.
Okay, am I under services, then roads and maps, or what? I'm still looking for it.
It should just be under posts. As far as I know, that's what I go under under the website, is under posts, and there's a section that says road maintenance.
Maybe it might be a little better idea if we get that just on the front page where it's up front and center. So
Marissa, it's under updates, and then off to the right-hand side, look snow plowing road maintenance.
Ah, got it. Okay. Thank you. All right, I'm gonna star that. Perfect. I appreciate that, Trevor. Thank you. And Jamie and whoever else is helping you there.
Betcha.
And if I could just chime in briefly, I really want to thank Jamie and Trevor, because those guys are really kind of keeping me standing up right now. They're doing a good job, and I really, really appreciate them and what they do, because I'm in the weeds, like as I said before. So they're straightening me out when I don't quite get it right. So they're doing a really good job with what they do. Thank you.
Well, Jamie, I just want to say Jamie and maybe the other gals too has held it together before you came. When Keith was just working part-time, she just went above and beyond, and she needs that recognition also.
Oh, absolutely. I agree.
Awesome. All right, thanks everyone. Hey, Trevor, thank you for that report.
You betcha, man. No problem.
7D financial. So Bruce, this is where we volley it back to you and kind of give us the synopsis of each one of those there.
I almost want to give it to Jamie. She's got a better handle on this than me. I mean, I have this in here, but yeah, we got a big property check or tax check. I think bigger than we were expecting, and so that's sort of the good news on that. we've received 47% of the expected tax, property tax to date. We're up at 334,254. Looks like we're projected to do 703. So yeah, it's nice having a little cushion where our financials, when you look at it, we're not in deficit, so to speak, for the percentage of the year we're in. So we're in the positive at this point now, so that's good. At least just for the accounting purposes, it looks a lot better than anything. I'm not sure. Jamie, if you've got anything else to add in there, please do. Okay, I guess
No,
not.
you're doing a good job.
Well, I don't know if I am or not, because like I said, I don't have my arms around this completely. Yeah, we're back over. Is this, we're going over to like the general fund, water, sewer, and overall?
Yeah, usually you give us amount budgeted, how was it? Amount budgeted, amount incoming, outgoing. So
Yeah,
amount,
so, okay, so I think that's on the next page on the agenda here. So the general fund, we're at 31% of budget, and expenses are 27%. So that's what I was talking about. We're looking better in that regard. We've got more money than we've spent. Water fund is 24% of revenues and expenses at 20. Sewer is 24% revenues and 22% of budget. And overall, we're at 26% revenue and 23% expenses. So all in the green on all of those at this point in time.
Nice. Okay.
and water pump.
Yes, in March we pumped.
Exhibit B.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just looked at, yeah, Exhibit B. I'm sorry. I
Oh,
saw that one too.
In March, we pumped 3.9 million gallons of water from the 4 wells, and in February we pumped 3.7, so a little more. So for the 3 years, for the same month, was almost 4.6 million in 2019, 3 million in 2020, and 4.1 in 2021. So we're down, you know, for the most, except for that 2019, we're down from the 2 of the 3 previous years in terms of the amount of water we've pumped. The billing amount versus what we're pumping, we're still working on that. We've got some somewhere. Hi. We're still working on figuring out where some of those are going. I mean, we know some of it's going to be the water truck and some other things like that we're using, but it's a little more than that. So there's some unaccounted for water that we're not quite sure where it's going at this point in time. But we're
Eventually, you're going to be able to kind of enlighten us on that and kind of give us some kind of information on how much we're pumping versus how much is being delivered.
I don't know if I brought that with me.
No, well, I wasn't asking for it at this moment. I was just saying, you're saying we will eventually be able to get that information.
I'm so, yes. So yes.
Good. Okay.
Amount billed versus amount pumped. Is that what you meant?
Yeah, it'd just be interesting to see what those numbers look like. If we watch that trend over time, it might point us to some problems if there's something going on.
Oh yeah, I think you're correct on that for sure. Okay, I'm not sure if there's anything else I should be doing. You can help me with that. I'd appreciate it.
I think you got it, Bruce.
Okay, yay. I'm happy.
Yeah. Unless I miss anything, Mark, Chris, anything you can?
Oh, that was perfect. That was
All
I
right.
thought that's good.
Awesome. Right, item number 8, unfinished business. So in-person meetings, discuss and provide direction to staff.
I think you guys took that up at the last meeting, but I don't know that we had a resolution. So I was looking for a little bit of direction in terms of what you're thinking, see if we can decide. We have options in terms of continuing what we're doing. We could probably go down to the library and do it in person there. And there may be some other options that I'm not aware of that if you'd like to entertain them, I'm happy to do whatever the consensus is, obviously.
What we discussed last meeting was the library is closed. So the 7 PM meetings doesn't work for their meeting rooms. And then there's always a problem getting everyone and the audio correct if it was just the board meeting in one of the conference rooms.
Okay.
So that's where I think we kind of left it up in the air. I can't remember. And Jamie could probably help on this. Have we unpacked the audio visual stuff?
I
that
am
we
not
could-
sure. I'm not sure where that's at this
Yeah.
point. And we do have the opportunity to use the library after it's closed, but it requires somebody going down earlier in the day and getting the key. And then during the day, they helped us set up the audio and the visual. But after hours, we won't have their help in getting it set up. And it just it didn't turn out well when we did have their help getting the audio and the visual in a manner that was legible and that would work well as far as taking minutes.
So
Was that,
Jamie, sorry, Jamie, I don't remember if I discussed it with you or with Bruce when I was down at the office. I thought we were suggesting maybe we could talk to your IT folks and see if they had some recommendations for some audiovisual equipment that might make it easier for us to interact on Zoom if the board members sat in the conference room.
Yes, we can certainly do that.
Yeah, we'll talk to them. The other just thought, and I don't know if this is viable or not, but I don't know what the city of Bayfield's doing. Do they have facilities that we might be able to use?
They have their town board.
Looks like Corey wants to speak.
Road.
So I'm actually the assistant director of public works for Bayfield. We do have facilities, and I was going to see if you guys reached out to Katie, the town manager, about using our boardroom.
I will.
Yeah.
So, you know, I can start the conversation if you'd like.
That would be wonderful. I just don't know what's involved in that, but it just occurred to me that might be an option because I don't know how you do your meetings either. But if you've got audiovisual stuff set up, then that would be half the battle right there.
No, well, we still have to set up, you know, the cameras for the Zoom because we do Zoom and in person. We offer both. You can Zoom in or in person.
Okay.
But
That'd be ideal.
So I think that would be an alternative. Then residents would have to drive down there for that meeting. So the question is, do we want to do that? Or if we could, for minimal cost, set something up in the office there, then I'd like to know what both alternatives are and which one might work better so that we can discuss it intelligently.
I agree. And we already have the conference room set up for conference calls. So I don't think it would take much more to get it set up for board meetings.
Yeah, we could do that. It wouldn't be real conducive to having other people in it because it's not that big. I mean, we'll just get
Right.
us in there and that's about it. Unless there's again, maybe that rec building, if depending on down the road, if we can do something with that, that might be a good location. If we can get that rehabbed at a reasonable price, that would be probably another option, perhaps down the road.
When you guys used to have them at the library, did you get that many citizens that used to come, or was it mostly just board members?
No, it was mostly board members.
we had, I think, 3, probably 1 was my husband because he drove me. And Jim was there, Jim Squires was there. We'd have to look back how many people showed, but it's.
Yeah, and that's And that's where I'm at. I mean, if we can use, I mean, the town boardroom is amazing, but if we get 2 or 3 people to show up, as
Right.
opposed to, I'm not sure also the other side of that is, I'm not sure having 5 of us in a small room at the main office, what does that really do? It's the same thing as being here at home. So I'm not sure where I land on. So, but yeah, I guess it's worth looking into, and they're not options until they're actually there. So,
And if I may, and I'm not stepping out of line here, but I think you'd probably get more participation now that times that is later during the day, so people who are actually working can actually attend now versus the 1:30 meetings you guys were having.
Well, Corey, you can see who showed up. It's the same people we've had during the day. Bonnie, Jim, I don't know if Candy is Candace, Liz. These are the same people Robin, that show up during the day. So that interest in the community, I guess
Well,
we're
it's also
doing a
our
good
first
job.
one.
Pardon me?
Give it a minute. I think you'll have more people show up.
yeah.
So I have a proposal, because I think we keep hashing this around. I don't know if any of us have a real strong opinion one way or the other. And I'm just not sure what would work best. I suppose we could try a couple of the alternatives and see what works.
Yeah.
And then maybe after we've tried them, then we can say, well, this really worked pretty well, or this one didn't work. And then maybe we could settle in on our final option.
Okay.
I would agree, Mark. I think if we can somehow get the town of Bayfield boardroom and try it out for, like I say, 4 or 6 months, see what happens. I mean, this kind of happened when I first got on the board. Same thing, summer meetings and evenings, kind of time, kind of thing. And that was right when the pandemic started. So of course we were all Zooming on the meetings. So I don't really have a perspective on in-person meetings, but I think, yeah, try it for 6 months and see what happens.
Okay, looks like I've got 2 alternatives here. One is the Bayfield one, the other one is talk to our IT guys, and maybe we could do it in-house. Those are the 2 options I'm seeing. Does that sound right to everyone?
Yeah, and the third one is keep doing it like we're doing it.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yep.
And we kind of know how this is working. So I think trying the other 2 alternatives then gives us some data points.
Thank you, Corey.
Okay.
All right. Oh, where am I at here?
Well, you're on 8A.
Oh, 8A, I'm sorry. Okay, so yeah, so Bruce, you feel like we have some avenues we can go down and see what happens? And again, I agree with what Mark says, try one and see how it works.
Yeah, I'll find out about those, and we'll have an update on that and see how that goes.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's try to make a decision next month so we don't keep kicking the can down the road on this.
Yeah. Agreed.
Okay.
All right, item 9, new business. 9A, attorney selection process, discuss and provide direction to staff.
Yeah, thank you. Our outgoing attorney provided 4 or 5 names of people, of firms or attorneys that he thought would fit well with us, and I've contacted them all. And we got 3 after many calls. Only got 3 return calls. So out of that, I wasn't sure how you wanted to do that. Did you want to interview them in person? Did you want to do it on Zoom? Or some methodology in terms of having the discussion with the potential district attorneys? I just want to know how you want to do that, and then I can set that all up and have that ready to go.
Wow, that's a great question. I'm not sure I've ever interviewed attorneys to put on retainers. I don't know how that works. Does anybody else have any background expertise in that? Mark or Carissa or Mandy? Or
I don't know how it was done in the past. That may have just been a selection by whoever the manager was at the time. You know, it's like any other contractor. The manager has the authority to go out and let contracts to get things taken care of within the district. I guess the question I have for you, Bruce, is would you feel more comfortable if you had some of us sitting in on any potential interviews, or, I mean, would you prefer that we give you some assistance on this?
Well, I guess from my perspective, the issue lies in that if the manager hires the attorney, that there's a potential conflict of interest. All the organizations I've ever worked with, the attorney works for either the city council or in this case, the board. And well, primarily the contact is with the manager to work things through, but it avoids a conflict of interest of hiring and then doing things in that regard. So that's where I'm coming from. But obviously we'll do what you want, but
Well, I hear you, and that probably makes sense, because
Yeah.
you will interface with him more often. And if you hired him, that gives an appearance of collusion potentially, so.
yeah, and I
Okay.
talked with all of them too, and they seemed to concur with what I was saying in that regard. They thought that was how it should go, because I just couldn't find anything that indicated, like you were asking, well, who's done this? And I have done this in the past, but this was in California, so things may be different here, and I'm perfectly willing to follow along with whatever you do here. But they seem to agree that the attorneys work for the board, so that
Yeah.
they can have that client attorney-client privilege to have those private discussions with you outside of the manager's. In case there's an issue with the manager, they have to be able to deal directly with the board.
Well, so do we want to have a couple of board members that volunteer to meet with the attorneys and then make a recommendation to the board?
Yeah,
I'll
I-
volunteer.
Go ahead, Grissa.
No, I'll volunteer.
Okay. Mark, as personnel, is that something that you'd be okay sitting on, or have a preference?
Well,
It's not our personnel, I get that. But
I'm okay sitting on, doing that as one of the volunteers. The potential difficulty for me is in about 4 weeks, I'm taking off for a month and a half.
Mhm.
And if we can get it done before that, I'm willing to participate. If there's somebody else that's willing to help me.
Yeah, this would have to be done with me very quickly also.
I think we can do that pretty quickly, like in the next couple of weeks. Right now I've got 3 potential.
I'm talking next couple of days.
Oh, that may
gosh,
be a little more challenging.
Next
Mm.
12 days.
12 days. Okay, that's a little more time. Let me
So
see what I can do.
if you could find a day that you could have all 3 scheduled in on the day.
Well, that's what I was
just
trying to do,
knock
yeah.
them out, that would be ideal.
Okay,
So
I'm
Derek,
available day and night.
say again?
I'm available day or night.
Okay,
I am often to Wednesday afternoon through Wednesday evenings, I'm not available. So Mandy and Derek, are you okay with Chris and I doing this?
absolutely. Yeah, I was thinking we can't have more than 2. For all,
Right.
if there's 3 or more there. So,
Right.
no, I appreciate that greatly. If you two can
Yes,
pull that off. Awesome.
Thanks.
I'll
Setting those
start
up.
making arrangements.
Thank you.
Again, Mark, Krista, thank you. 9B, sign for new district office.
Yeah, the question, do we want to get one? And if so, what kind? I know there was some discussion about possibly getting a reader board kind of sign, or do we want to just have some other type of signage? It doesn't matter to me, but something to identify the building so that people know what it is.
Wow. I never even thought of that.
Yeah, there's a
I-
number of possibilities, that's all.
Mandy,
Okay.
I think you had some information on those electronic signs that we could potentially put one out front, and maybe on top of that, then we can have something that says Forest Lakes Metro District Office.
And Bruce, I'll go back. I sent that out to the group a little while ago and I'll look and resend it so you're on that email. But yeah, I had just like Googled and I had found some that were similar to like what you see at schools. And they were, the cheapest one I found was like $700. It didn't include the structure that you put it in. That was just for the board. And then like you get the little box inside to program it.
Right, and we'll need to run electricity out there though, so that'll be another cost of running that.
Yep.
Probably 150 feet. And obviously the programming cable, unless it's wireless, I don't know how that would work out, but sure, if that's where you want to go, we can price that out and
So
or-
Keith, I mean, it's not Keith, sorry, I saw the name on the screen there, Bruce.
Yep.
How about as a suggestion, since you're still trying to get familiarized with the budget and you're trying to dig into that and look at what we got going and look at priorities, maybe you could keep that in mind if you got, kind of a rough idea what that's going to cost. And maybe short term, we put up a small sign over the entryway portico or whatever that's called. And then look long term at possibly prioritizing that in the budget once you've got a handle on the budget. Does that sound like a reasonable approach?
it's fine with me.
Yeah, I was gonna suggest that also, if you look at Keith's notes, or maybe someone has a better memory than me, remember the signs he got for the soccer field? He got those at a good deal, if not free, from Signs.
It's from
Yes,
Basin
signs.
Printing.
Okay.
Basin. Oh,
Mhm.
Okay, maybe they're
Maybe,
willing to do something for us, and I mean, we can pay them something this time because they did all sorts of other signs. But it was just, it's a vinyl sign with 2 posts. The new FLMD, administration building.
It's actually free because they have their own little advertisement and fine print on the sign as well.
Okay, that's free is good. Yeah. I could see that being, maybe at a V as you pull up, not so much, so on the road, not so much on the building.
That's what I was thinking too, because as you drive by, you need to be able to see that's, oh yeah, that's where I want to go or not.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I'd agree.
Then
No, that's a good
anything-
idea. And I would agree with Mark and Carissa. Yeah. I mean, as far as that approach, short term, long term, I'd go along with that as well.
Okay.
All right. Moving on here. Moving on. All right. 9C, Verizon Tower.
Yes. I got somebody requested that we look into doing that to try and get that, and I don't remember who it was, but I thought I'd put it on there because I think it would be valuable for anybody, honestly. But so just if we were able to do that, whether it be on district property, which I'm assuming it would be, but whether it be down in the valley or up high, I don't know. I've done a couple of these in California where it actually worked out because we had a franchise with them, so we actually got paid to have the tower on there. So if that's, you'd like me to pursue that, or with some other cell companies, I'd be happy to do that as well.
Personally, I think it would be helpful. I know residents that drive down to the entrance and sit there for 20 minutes on their cell phone because they can't text from their house. I think a lot of people would really appreciate that. And I think it's worth exploring if you are willing to follow up on that, Bruce.
Yeah, like I said, it's been a few years since I've done one of these, but sometimes they're knocking your door down, sometimes they're not. I mean, it was a great revenue source at the time because it was a high demand place where they wanted to put it, and we happened to own the property. We're not going to get rich out of this, or maybe nothing. I don't know how they do it here, or what the demand is, because they look at how many customers they have and potential customers, and how they evaluate it. So yeah, I'm happy to follow up on that and see what we can come up with.
Yeah, I would agree. I would approve of that. But I guess my question would be, do you do you sense there could be a a battle over where this is placed? Because I mean, just based on the location of it in our district, I can see, you know, I guess I don't know how these towers work as far as how powerful they are, but given, you know, where you put it, just because it's in Forest Lakes, you may not get very good reception. Is there a potential fight
That's-
inter-district over that? Or
Well,
does that
there
make
is,
sense?
it is interesting, because actually the way we're structured, I would think from what I know about it, it would almost be better if it was down low, kind of by the O&M shop. So, because when you get up too high, it actually kind of creates a shadow of the houses that are underneath it to a certain degree. So if you're down low, you're going to penetrate up into the mountain better, but that may not serve their purposes if they want to get people maybe on the other side of a mountain or whatever. So they do all the work and figure out if it's in their interest to do it.
Oh, sure.
How many customers, but yeah, but your point's well taken. It is controversial because at times, because some people don't want it too close to them, or there's, you know, a lot of studies out on cell phone radiation and things like that. And there's two sides of that, and I'm not taking one, but it could be controversial for sure, depending on where it would go.
Okay.
I say we go for it. There's so many of us that struggle with this.
Yeah.
Okay.
And more of us working from home. This sucks not having cell service.
And
Okay.
Bruce, this would be beneficial to us as well, you know, as far as us being able to communicate to each other on the mountain. And I mean, maybe we could utilize our tank sites. I mean, we got some room. I don't believe those towers would take up that much space, but I mean, we do have four tank sites, you know, on the mountain that we could potentially use as well.
Yeah, that's a good point, Trevor.
Yeah, I would think that, like you say, though, they're going to do the work. They're going to determine where the
Yeah.
reception would
Right.
be optimal. And my guess is it's going to be down low, like near where the office is.
Sure.
So you can cover more of the mountain. But again, you know, if we contact them, they can tell us.
Doesn't
Yeah.
hurt to try.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice. Okay.
All right.
Love it.
Follow up on that.
All right. Thanks, Bruce.
Mhm.
So item 9D, thank the outgoing board members.
Well,
I have to be honest. I'm kind of sitting here thinking that we have an election coming up, but I may know of one, but it says members, so plural has me kind of concerned.
Tony and Mandy.
good point. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, well, Tony too, but I mean.
Right.
obviously
Oh, Tony.
not
He's not
present.
currently on it, but he was obviously for quite some time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Tony-
thanks for
Tony Mandy.
everything you did, Mandy. You were really, you had a lot of good input. I mean, I think that cell tower was your idea too, and I appreciated having you on the board.
I just took the ball from somebody else. So yes, it was a good experience for me. Thanks for having me. Sorry I didn't stay longer, but you guys will do good things.
Greatly appreciated, Mandy. And so I will still be picking your brain. However, you got the creative side, so I'll still be knocking. So, but
I'll
very
still
much
be on your
appreciate
recreation committee, Derek.
it. Yay! Awesome. Sounds great. Yeah, but thanks for stepping up and stepping in. I know I greatly appreciate it.
Sure.
All right. Item 9E says here, where is it?
I think we have-
Authorized. Oh, this is for the mortgage loan. Okay, we kind
Yeah,
of
we've kind of
discussed
done
this
that.
earlier. Okay.
And Corey had a question about that. He said, oh, wait, no, it's moved. Shouldn't the board make a motion designating Derek to sign that? We've had other, I'm guessing no, Corey, to answer your question. We've had other questions that Jamie has brought up about signing for the bank and things like that. I do not believe we need a motion to do that. But if you think we do, we can make a motion. It's not like a resolution or anything, to have Derek be approved. I think what Bruce stated, what he read, that's the legal part we needed, and that's in the minutes.
You know, I'm not sure it would be a bad idea because it shows that we're all in agreement and we've all officially endorsed Derek as the signer. So I would like to make a motion that we officially vote on making Derek the signer for the mortgage. Anybody want to second it?
Motion, got a second?
I'll second it.
All right, Mandy, get a second? So call the question. So Mark and Mandy, have them on board. Carissa?
Yes.
And I will abstain from that.
Well,
So-
motion carries then.
All right, motion carries. Now, Mark, I think that's a wise idea, is kind of seal it up
Yeah.
tight. So I think that's the right thing to do.
Yeah, I think so too. That'll make it very clear.
Nice.
And Bonnie just voiced her opinion on having in-person meetings. She doesn't think people would drive down to the, to go in person to a meeting.
Yeah.
In town. So that was just an opinion. I'm voicing it for Bonnie. Thank you, Bonnie.
I appreciate that, Bonnie. And, well, I guess we'll find out, it's give people different avenues. That's all you can do. You can lead a horse to water, right? All right.
True.
Item 10, resolutions. So this was the resolution that addressed the specific date as far as the increase in the rates. And it looks like, I looked at the resolution, I'm not sure we have to go over the entire thing again, but the very last whereas, it looked like we added September 1st. Jamie, are you still on here? Is that the right?
Yes, that's
September 1st?
correct.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the only change in it. Virtually everything was the same. It's just establishing the exact date starting September 1st of years 22 through 25. That rate, so it would be reflected on the next month's bill. But the actual rate increase would go into effect on the 1st of September, and that is the only change.
Only
that
change.
I
Okay.
move the adoption of resolution 2022-05.
And I'll second that, seeing as how we all approved everything except that last paragraph. And the last paragraph is what specifically indicates on what date. So I don't think we need to read the whole thing, and I will second it.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. So again, Carissa and Mark, have you on the record there. Mandy, what say you?
I approve.
Approved. I'll also approve that. And again, September 1st being the date. And just want to add that real quick. Was that Mark that caught that as far as the specific date piece? So good catch. So well done with that.
So Jamie, will it be at the September bill or the October bill?
October.
October bill, okay.
Okay. All right. All right. Oh, back up to the top here. Where are we?
Number 11.
11. Where are you? All right. Approval of disbursements. So Mark, this is your territory here.
Yep, I make a motion that we approve the monthly expenditures for the date 9 March through 7 April 2022 in the amount of $108,534.59.
Second,
Okay. Motion is second to approve the disbursements. Mandy,
I'll approve it.
I'll approve. I'll also approve. So thank you, Mark, for that. In the amount of 108, what was it? 108,534 and 59 cents.
Yep.
All right. All right. Item 12. Anyone?
Aye. Just kidding. You want me to make a motion to
Oh,
adjourn?
motion to adjourn. Adjournment. Sorry, I should have said
second,
something. Dragging this out.
second,
So a motion and a second.
second.
All right. Who made the motion? I apologize.
Mandy,
Oh, Mandy did. So Mandy, Carissa, Mark, what do you say?
I agree.
Agree? All right. I also agree to adjourn. So next meeting will be on May 10th, 2022, 7 p.m. and we'll do it via Zoom. So we figure this out.
And we will be welcoming new board members too.
Ah, that's right. May 3rd.
Oh, yes. Good
Excellent.
plan.
All right. Exciting. Election day.
good job, Bruce. Thanks again, Mandy.
Thank you.
Welcome, Bruce.
Thank you.
Andy. Hey, have a good night, everybody. Thank you
Yep,
so much.
thanks,
Good
Ken.
night.
Good
Thank
job.
you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.